talk about how I have the ink and my outfit like almost perfectly uniform. What? Did not even have that planned. I'm so cute, y'all. I'm excited to have this episode airing today, of all days. Today is the 2nd year anniversary of turning coal into diamonds, y'all. Like, what? 2 years of coals and diamonds and everything in between. I am so thrilled to be recording and dropping this on 4/20, 2022. It's so crazy because literally I remember having the idea to record and drop it for 4/20, 2020. And I was so nervous. I never really thought my podcast would ever get as many listens, as many people watching and all that stuff. And just thank you guys for following the concept, following me, listening, tuning in, staying tuned when there's not episodes, asking for episodes, being on my butt. Because really this has been such a blessing for me and such a learning journey. And I'm so excited for the next year and episodes and just continuing this journey with everybody listening. So thank you. Of course, I have to do a special thanks to Catan, one of our sponsors. And, if you guys have not seen or heard me talk about Catan, it's one of my favorite games out there. It's just such a game that's great for families, great for friends, great for adults, especially if you have a competitive side. It's a game that is forever always changing. Not all games are the same. And so that's what makes it so fun and unique. So if you have not played the game, make sure to go check it out at catanshop.com. Use code TCID for 10% off of the game. And they have different expansions and things like that. So definitely check them all out. They're all super fun. And I'm so excited for this episode once again, just because, like I said, 2 years of podcasting, or I should really say a year and a half, has been really, really amazing. And I'm especially this episode came to me. I had to re-record, or I should say re-record, but I did another episode just for this one because it was, I feel like I have an amazing story to go with the coal to diamond moment. A lot of you guys know this past weekend was Coachella. What's the name? Say it. What's the name? Say it. I got a chance, an opportunity to go. I was so not expecting it, especially from the week. If you do not hear it in my voice, I'm kind of like nasally and congested. I was sick, very, very sick last week, and I'm still recovering. I think Coachella kind of put a little dent in that recovery, if you know what I mean, but that's okay. I definitely I'll take all that dust and coughing, because I had a great time.
I'll get it. I'll get it.
But why I wanted to share talk about Coachella and like everything that happened is, one, it's Coachella, y'all. Like, why not? But it really was a coal to diamond moment. Like last week, for the last 9 months, I really should say, and this is kind of why podcasting has been a little bit on and off. I had a pretty full-time job managing a local cannabis dispensary here in LA. And it was one of the best jobs I ever had and one of the worst jobs I've ever had. Just in the sense of like, given the industry, it was really fun. It was really exciting. There was a lot to learn. Please go check out my episode, Turning Cannabis into Diamonds, because it was very educational. And I still stand by a lot of the things that I've learned at that job. However, in the last 9 months, I didn't realize up into the last month, 2 months, how much I was giving of myself, how much I kind of lost the value of myself because of so much I was given and not and not really receiving anything besides a paycheck in return. And I'm more than just a 9 to 5 paycheck. I really value myself and my talent and who I am at a lot higher. And to some people that might be arrogant or narcissistic, but I know who I am and I know my worth. And at some point, I kind of forgot that and what I was doing at that job for them and the things that I was giving to them for very little in return. And so when I started opening my eyes to that, I put in my 2 weeks. And within that 2 weeks, I actually got sick. And that that really opened up my eyes to some of the behaviors of upper management and things like that, because being a manager, it's tough to be sick, like it's only a few of us at that particular job. But I know in a lot of jobs, management, upper management, there's a lot on your shoulders. There's a lot on your back. So to be present is very much needed. But in my situation, they always knew that acting, my podcasting, and things that were going on outside of my life were very important to me. That was very on the table, very clear. And I mean, I had booked some things in between. And so they worked with me in some areas. However, with me being sick, long story short, I had to call off some days. I had to get a doctor's note, which was okay. Like I got the doctor's note. It was clear I was sick. Got COVID checks. All of them were negative. So it was like a cold. I had a flu or something viral. And so it wasn't safe to be at work as well. But they wanted me to come to work and put other people at risk. And I was also I had to film that weekend and had to take a trip to film. It was not in LA. It was in the Bay Area. So all of this, I was thinking, like, I really have to take care of my body. I have to take care of me, my health. And so I'm going to take the time to rest and take care of my health. And that put me in a place where they deemed me unreliable and started taking my last shifts away from me. And they spoke to other managers and other staff to rearrange my schedule without talking to me. Because I was unreliable. And I wasn't unreliable, I was sick. And I had been telling them days in advance, like, hey guys, I'm not feeling well. We should probably think about covering some of these days. Hey guys, I'm not feeling well. Anyways, and all of that, leaving the job and putting in my 2 weeks and quitting and realizing that I wasn't being valued for, especially in, not once did this person in management, hey, if you deemed me unreliable, if you didn't think I was going to come to these shifts, you could have asked me, hey, Gerard, are you sure are you going to be available next week? Are you going to be feeling better next week? But as I was in the doctor's office, I could see the shifts being and when I was at the doctor's, when I texted them, hey, I'm at the doctor, I'm probably not going to be able to come in tomorrow. So literally I was showing my doctor, and not once did I get a text hey, are you okay? Will you be feeling better? Hope you feel better. Let us know how we can help. Just shift being released. You're deleted from this chat. You're deleted from this message group. You're deleted from this management thing. And it's okay. So given that my week was full of drama and being sick and just kind of being my reputation at a job that I had given so much kind of tarnished because I had actually been sick, I decided, you know what? I'm actually going to go down to Palm Springs and go to Coachella Valley, make some money. And some of you guys may know this from my stand up, and I have stories about I drove Lyft once upon a time. And for me, Lyft was always great because I used to have note cards that I'm supposed to be reading. That's so funny. I used to drive Lyft every once in a while for extra cash here in LA. And so I was you know what? I know Coachella is good money. I'm driving down, going to drive some Coachella people, see some hotties, because I knew there was going to be some hotties, especially because Meg Thee Stallion was performing. I knew there was going to be some hot girls, some hot boys. So I was ready. And for me, Lyft has always been a great to meet people. I've always had gotten people to come to my shows. I had people that I've dated through Lyft and stuff like that. So for me, Lyft is a great time. So it was no doubt about it that I was going to go and have a good time, meet some good people, all that stuff. So I plan like I'm like, and I didn't even say this. My weekend of filming had also gotten canceled because one, I was sick. I can't like, I'm like sniffling. Filming like that is just not cute. That's not the vibe. And I didn't want to get other people sick again on set. And then it actually got canceled because just like scheduling conflicts and things like that. So like I just had a weekend of like not doing anything. So I'm like, okay, Coachella, here we go. To work, to make money. And so I get down there late Friday night, um, uh, get to all my plans of like figure out where I'm going to stay and all that good stuff. And then I just hop on, turn on the app. Here we go. Make some good money, all that good stuff. That's Friday night. And so at the end of Coachella, it's a fiasco. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of people to get a ride. Like it's a show, complete shit show. It's crazy. It's mayhem. It's wild. Like literally, people are like yelling, "I'll pay you $200 to take me and my friends." I'm like, I literally have a ride right now. I cannot take you. And so these two people get in my car, and we're like, they're like, "Thank you so much for not canceling on us. Thank you, thank you, thank you." Like, I'm like, no, I get it. I've been one of you guys before plenty of times. Like, y'all remember Coachella? That was me. I've done it. I've been here. I've been it. So, anyways, we're chit chatting. Friday night's Harry Styles, by the way. So Harry Styles and all of his crew is like coming out the woodwork now. They're coming out everywhere. So we go in, and I'm like, "Hey, like, what was your favorite time?" Like, da da da. They're like, "We just came for Harry Styles. It was so amazing." Da 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 da. And I'm like, "Oh my god, so cute." And they're like, they brought out Shania Twain. I was like, "What?" And they were just like, "It was so amazing." And I was like, "You guys just came for Harry Styles? That's wild." And they're like, "Yeah, well, my friend, he's driving back on Sunday, and I'm flying back Sunday and stuff like that." They're like, "Well, why didn't you go?" And I was like, "You know what? I'm actually here just to make money. I'm going on a trip on to Europe in 2 months, and like, I'm just trying to save up for that, you know." Just like I didn't want to do Coachella and Europe for 3 weeks. Like I just, you know what I mean? Girl, gotta be smart. Like, and I was just like, "But if you guys want, I'll totally buy your wristbands off of you guys for Sunday, like if it works out that way or whatever." And they're like, "Oh my god, like yeah, please give us the exchange numbers, da da da." Like, and the vibes are super cute. We were chit chatting the whole ride. To be honest, the whole ride was like literally 6 minutes because they were staying right by Coachella Valley. So we exchanged numbers and they're like, "Yeah, we'll totally give you our wristbands on for Sunday." And I was like, "Great, cool beans." Like I was like, "Oh my god," like super excited. Actually, not just cool beans. I was like, we'll go to Coachella on Saturday, and they'll give me 2 wristbands. So I was like, okay, cool. So I sent literally the screenshot of the messages to my roommates to be like, "Oh my god, guys, let's get a third ticket so that we can all three go. Like, how sickening would that be?" And they're like, "Yeah, totally. I actually have off on Sunday. I get off at 11:30 on Sunday because it's Easter. Like, yes, let's do the damn thing." So we're like, okay, let's try and find a third ticket. That's Friday night. Boom, boom, pow. Sunday morning, I'm sorry, not Sunday morning, Saturday morning, I wake up and I'm just like, let me text Ange and Justin. Let me just like, those are the two people we met. And I'm like, I want to make sure that they're down to get the tickets really. So I'm like, Ange, like if you guys are really down to give us the wristbands, like how much do you want for them? And like, can we really do that? And she was like, first of all, save your money for Europe. Have a good time. We'll give you the wristbands. Like, don't even stress about the money. I was like, what? Like, Ange, don't do that to me. Like, I just like, what? No, come on, we can't. Yes, we can. But like, no, we can't. And so I was just like, look, obviously I'm here to make money, but like, at least let me be your like personal chauffeur for the night. Like, I will pick you guys up whatever time you guys are seeing Billy. Let me know. I'll be here, pick you up, drop you off. Like, you don't have to stress about the mayhem and fiasco of the day. And they're like, yes, let's do it. Boom, boom. Like, yes. I'm like, what? We'll do that. That's an even fun exchange. Cool. So I text my roommates. They're like, okay, yes, let's get that third ticket. And we like decide, even if we have to pay for it, we'll split it. So literally as I'm talking to one of my roommates, there's a guy selling Coachella wristbands, like boom, in front of my face. He's right there, 5 wristband. So I'm like, okay, how much is it? He's like $250. And so my roommates and I on the phone were like, okay, yeah, we'll split the 125, and we'll get our third roommate to Zealous, Venmo, whatever it is. So we get it. I look at him, he's registering. It's technically already registered, but that makes sense. It's always like that. So I was just like, oh my God, like we have a third ticket. We're going to Coachella tomorrow. Oh my goodness, oh my goodness. Actually, I was like, oh my goodness, I have a third ticket. I might go to Coachella today. Like I have one right now. And so like that is when the drama kind of started actually. So we get the third ticket. That's like a vibe. I'm like, it's still early as F in the day. Let me make some money before I go try and see Meg the Stallion and Flume and just like whoever I'm trying to see. You know what I mean? So like that is the vibe. And so later on, I'm driving somebody else. She and her homegirl are just like, we're all vibing in the car, jamming, listening to Coachella music. Like, you know, it's me. It's G. Cole. I'm a good time, y'all. Y'all already know. So, like, we're vibing. We're listening. They're like, oh my goodness, your music is, like, killing the game right now. I'm like, duh, girls. Like, what are we talking about? And so they're like, do you, like, know anybody who needs an extra wristband? And I'm like, what? And I'm like, yeah, like actually my two roommates, they have wristbands. They're coming up tomorrow and we're looking for a third one. So like I could go too since I'm driving. And she was like, she just boom, throws it in the front seat. And I'm like, what? She's like, yeah, we had an extra one. We have artist passes, VIP, da 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 da. But here's a general admission. Our friends hooked us up with an extra one. We're just going to give it to a random when we got there. But like, we like you better. And I'm like, what? What? Okay, like, yeah. So now in my hands, guys, I have 2 wristbands, 2 for Sunday coming. And I'm like, okay. I text one of my homies, Rio. He's like being lame. He doesn't want to come. He's got to go to work and have Easter plans. Not everybody can quit their job in one weekend, you know what I mean? And so, and then go to Coachella. So, like, he's like, nah, he can't make it. I go back, and so I decided to use the wristband, not that they gave me, but the one that I bought for $250. So I put it on my wrist. Da, da, da. As I'm walking, this guy's like, hey, buying wristbands. And I'm like, hey, no, I'll just give you a wristband. And he's like, no, like, I want to buy it. And I was like, okay, like, whatever. And so I got it for $250. I was like, just give us $140. Me and my roommates will split the difference. Da, 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 da. Like, we're going to go to Coachella for $40. That's fine. Let's be kind. Da, da, da. So I give this guy, he pays me $140. And go in, I'm walking, and then I go to use my wristband. It's red. Go to use the wristband. It's red. And I'm like, okay. And they're like, you can't come in, obviously. You got to go check in with the tent over there. As soon as I get there, the guy immediately is like, well, let me see the wristband. So I show him, and he, like, snips it off my hand. And I'm like, okay, you're not giving me that back, And he was like, what's your name? And I'm like, okay. So he's obviously going to try and verify, like, but I bought it off of somebody else. I'm obviously not the person who, like, originally got it. So I'm like, Steven, because I know the guy, his name is Steven. I Zelled him, and it showed his name and whatever for the $250. And long story short, the guy who sold it to us for $250 had reported all of those wristbands lost or stolen. So he got his money back from Coachella for all of the wristbands and now selling them to people who can't now use them to get in. So everybody who bought those wristbands from that guy, me and whoever, because there was like literally people buying them from him, are all scammed out of $250, and he like just makes up his money. Luckily, I talked to my bank and stuff like that, so they're trying to work it out. But like that was a whole fiasco. So I'm kind of like, oh well, let me go to that guy who I just gave the wristband to. This was not the best idea, guys, because me and this guy got into a whole fight, and it was wild. So I go up to him like, hey, just so you know, like, I got a fake wristband and stuff like that. So that one might be fake too. Can I get it back so I can check them? And he's like, no, bro. Like, I paid for it. And I was like, oh no, I'll give you your money back. Like, I still have it. Like, I gave him his $140. And then he's like, no, I'm not giving it back. So I'm like, I just gave you your money back and you're not giving me the wristband? No, bro. Like, we're like, no. And so, like, literally, I go to grab the wristband off his wrist. And then like he like kind of swings, but I have his hand, and he's like, "I'm the wrong one, bro. I'm the wrong one." And literally, like as I'm holding his wrist, and he like has already swung, and I'm holding his fist or whatever. I'm kind of like, man, like I should have known. Like he is like just looking at this guy, looking at me. This was not the guy to be doing this with. But I'm also like, I'm fucking getting into this festival. I just gave you this fucking thing. I was giving it to you for free. You're the one who wanted to pay for it. You know, all of this stuff going on. So, like, here we are, and I'm just like, yo, like, I'm not letting go. Give me the wristband. I gave you your money back. Like, I'm not. And he's like, yo, give me $20 more. I'm like, I'm not paying you extra money for a wristband that I was giving to you, dude. Like, that's just not going to happen today. So, like, now people are watching me and this home dude, like, kind of like tussling in the middle of the field, and people are just walking, and like obviously somebody comes and stops us, and I'm like, yo, or like this guy has my wristband. I was like trying to tell him the whole story. Like it wasn't like he just had it, you know what I mean? But like I gave him his money back. Now give me the wristband back. Like, you know what I mean? You can't keep the wristband and my money. That's just not gonna happen today. Like no. And so finally everybody calmed down, got the wristband back from the dude, and like here I am now going into the festival. But like what's really funny about the whole situation is I run into this guy now each day. Like, so this is Saturday. I run into him again Saturday night, and then I run into him again on Sunday at the festival. So it was like, this was not the last exchange of words we had for each other, but like at this moment, here I am going into Coachella. It's Saturday. Let's have a good time. I need it. I'm gonna see Flume. I'm gonna see Meg Thee Stallion. I'm gonna fucking have a good time tonight. And I'm just gonna tell you, walking into Coachella, it's so beautiful. Like just the scenery, it's hot. First of all, like I could on Sunday, especially when I was there with my roommates, I kept saying, I just want oxygen. I want fresh, because all you can really smell is freaking dust in the air. It's just dust and dust from the wind blowing. It's a desert, so sand and dust. And then everybody's smoking weed. So there's just like weed in the air. And I'm not, today's 420. You guys are hearing this. Like, trust me, I did a cannabis episode. I worked in the cannabis industry for a little minute. Like, it's not something I care about. At the same time, I was just like, can I just get fresh air for a second, please? But either way, it was so beautiful in that regard. It was just seeing so many hot people, the view, everybody's outfits were like, One of my roommates literally was like, I've not seen so many hot people all think that they are hot. And it's just like, it's so true because everybody's there is like, I'm the shit. And that's just LA actually. But like, either way, Coachella is a bunch of that. I will say right away though, whoever's deciding to go to Coachella, if you've never been, it is fun. But make sure you eat, you drink, you stay hydrated. It is hot. It's a desert. Like, no matter, like, because so many people are doing so many different things. Like, literally throughout the weekend, you see people passing out and falling down. And, like, whether they're on drugs or not, like, you shouldn't, first off, assume that. Because there was one time, like, literally, I was at Flume and I was like, bum, bum, dancing, da 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 da, do bada bada. And at one point, I was like, yo, I might pass out. And, like, I needed to sit down. And everybody was just like, what are you taking? What have you done? Are you okay? And I'm like, yo, I have just been in the heat and the sun and I've not eaten much today. Like, I am okay. I've not done any drugs. Like, I just need a second, guys. But, like, literally the next day, when we're seeing Doja Cat, this girl, kind of the same thing, but she was, I think, on something. But, like, literally, she had to get carried out by, like, people that were trying to help her. I don't want to say paramedics because I don't know what they're, obviously like some kind of nurses or like emergency staff. But like it was so sad because she was with friends, or a friend at least that we saw, and her friend just let her go. It was like, I'll see you later. Just like literally your friend is being carried by paramedics and you're like literally just like Bye, I'm seeing Doja Cat. Get into a yacht. Like, oh my God, that was so rude. And we're like watching it happen. Like, are you not going with your friend? And she's like, okay. Like, I mean, everybody is here to have their own Coachella experience, but like, obviously, make sure you go with people that you trust and enjoy and like will have your back if you are passing out, because not everybody will do that for you. But it was so cool. One, before I talk about some of my favorite artists, like, it was so cool to see Coachella kind of expand, because like over the years I've heard at least, like Philip Ashewitz, that's obviously not how you say his name, but Philip, whoever the owner is, like he's donated to anti-LGBT causes or whatever like that. And so like there's been years that I've been very skeptical about going. And at the same time, I've learned and like seen that he's not giving some of his money to certain artists. But either way, what I'm trying to say is like to see that there was trans artists like Kim Petras that played that slave. Like, was one of my favorite sets. So queer, so disgusting, so grimy, and I loved every disgusting second of it. And then to see like Pablo Viatar, like one of the first drag queens perform there, and like it was such a profound, and like seeing Asian artists there, Latin American artists there, Latin artists, like it was all just like there was so much representation there this year that I was like, yes, Meg the Stallion, like Doja, like
You like to doja with the cat, yeah. Like a dicky, like it fat, yeah.
some the headliners were like, I was like, okay, I see us thing this year. But like definitely top artists would be Kim Petras, Doja Cat for sure. Like slay the house down, boots, like every single.
Think you're feeling low, low. Then you come over now. Kinda like a yo-yo.
Oh my goodness, and like it was just wild, and it. So all of this to say, because like I kind of so just got into Coachella moment, and like how could you not? But like I hate sometimes, because I worked with this with my life coach, like I don't want to be like life is transactional, like you do good things, this happens, you do bad, this happens, because that's not life. Like literally life is so random. Life is just all about, like, I feel like learning the lessons, going with it, putting out there the things that you want to manifest and put vibrationally attract into your life. And I felt for a while being at the job that I was at, like so stifled in my magic and my soul, and like just the creativity of like who I am, that like when I really released that energy, when I really like was like cut that out of my life, like I'm not gonna forget who I am, and I'm not going to forget my value, my worth, my talent. I know who I am, and I'm going to stick to that and trust that I will relish and grow in that. Like, I end up getting to have one of the best weekends of my life. Like, how is that? Like, there's just moments where you like, that kind 1+1 sometimes does equal 2. Like when I am being trusting of myself and my value and like who I am as a person, like magic around me happens. I meet people. I get to go to Coachella. I get to, just things that are magical happen. But when I do forget my magnificence, my value, my worth, the things that make me shine, then I probably would have to stay at a 9 to 5 job and be, angry about not being able to switch shifts, and like how much I put out there and how little I get, and not being able to go on the vacation of my dream to Europe and stuff like that. Like, okay, maybe those aren't the things that are right for me. And, not every path is right for everyone. There are people that like love where they're at and love their 9 to 5 and love da 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 about their situation. However, mine was a place where I wasn't in love with it. And because I wasn't in love with it, my magic wasn't flowing. And when I released that, the magic flowed. And I'm so excited to share that, like, I just had one of the best weekends. I really have to take that back because actually, Coachella, Baychella 2018 was probably the best weekend of my life. You know, let's not get it twisted. But I will still say, like, out of the week that I had being sick, having to quit a job, like losing certain work relationships that, like, I mean, they didn't serve me in the sense of my highest self. So I'm not going to be like, oh man, I'm sad that those are whatever. But it was a really, really, really tough week. And so a lot of the people that saw me at Coachella were like, excuse me, weren't you just sick? Weren't you just like quitting? Weren't you just like, and all of those things were very true. And it was very much like, yeah, but you know, here's what life brought, and I'm going to fully accept these gifts. I will apologize to my mom and my family for not celebrating Easter in a more wholesome way. However, just, the Sky Daddy is still in my heart and my soul. And thank you guys so much for listening to my episode about Coachella. It was so, so amazing. Like I said, to just have a great weekend after such a shitty week. But like, please make sure you guys are taking care of yourselves, making sure you guys are taking care of each other. There's so much going on in the world, but let's make sure that we are spreading love and making powerful decisions, and as always, make sure you guys keep turning coals into diamonds. Love you guys.